Never a dull moment.
Yeah. Oh, don't say that. I hate when people say that because it just invites chaos into your fucking life.
Dude, my life has
Don't say that.
My life has been chaos.
Did you ever think maybe because that's what you're saying? You're manifesting chaos.
Maybe. Welcome back, everybody.
Oh, you're doing the intro today?
Ah, well,
I like it.
I think we already started. Like, I like these unplanned starts.
The cold starts,
for sure.
It's just you know what? Like, why not? Like,
Sure. Yeah.
let's throw the formal shit out.
Yeah, I'm into
for today.
I don't like doing it anyway.
I'm excited about today's episode.
Me too.
When you,
I like all of them.
yeah, but like when you told me today what we're going to be discussing, I'm like, oh, I have a lot to say about this because I believe I went through a lot of ups and downs when my kids were born.
Yeah.
Both times, different scenarios, different feelings, and you know, like when they say with the newborn, first kid, you don't know what you're doing. With the second one, it's going to be easier, but that's bullshit.
Okay.
Because second one's totally different kid.
Yeah.
And then there's new things. So,
Well, and your two kids couldn't be any more different from each other.
my God, right? Yeah. So yeah, I guess I'll let you introduce our guest today, since you're the one that brought him in. And
Sure.
I just met him today first time, and
it's the tale of two Tommies.
yeah, he's
today. That's
coolest
the title.
name. Coolest
That's the
name.
episode title for sure.
Nice.
I know you like to usually do like subject matter appropriate, but this one's just going to be called Tale of Two Tommies.
I love it. Yeah.
Well, we'll see about it.
And I'm just going to listen to you guys talk about being dads because,
Yeah.
like, I've had the easiest journey being a dad compared to the
Yes.
two of you.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
can talk about that.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
like, I can learn a lot from you guys.
For
And
sure.
so, actually, I really want to learn. I had a different experience becoming a father, and so I'll talk about that a bit on the show today. And, like, it's been a different experience. And, like, it comes with its own challenges.
100%.
And so,
Right.
Well, yeah, that has a totally different aspect of fatherhood. Or parenting.
And like I love her so much.
Yep.
And so we all do, and we'll get into that. But yeah. So Tommy Maguire, a friend of mine. We've known each other for a few years.
Yeah, you got it.
Through work.
Yep.
Is your brother Jerry?
No.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh.
I haven't
How
heard that
often
one.
do you
Yeah.
get it?
Yeah.
He's
Show
gonna
me the
walk
money.
out. And that's the episode, everybody. Thank you for being
Thank you
here.
very much.
It's gonna be just me and normal Tommy. You fucking asshole. Welcome here, man.
Thanks,
Thank you
man.
so much for being here. I mean, I don't know how many episodes you've listened to, or if you kind of picked away at a few just to get a little bit familiar with what we do here. But like, it's sometimes not the easiest podcast to be on.
Yeah.
I think that like we bear ourselves and we talk as men aren't supposed to talk, and we're not supposed to do these things sometimes. And I know we know that's changing, and the world's changing a bit in that sense. But like, it can be difficult, it can be hard, it can be heavy, it can be fun. It's whatever the fuck we want it to be.
Yeah.
For sure.
I appreciate you being willing to be here and, and to share those things. So thank
Absolutely. Well, my drive over here, I was like, it's like I'm going to therapy or something.
you. You know what? And I think I say this every show, but like,
You do.
I get something out of this every time I do it.
Yeah.
Like I leave with something, feeling something better, or learn something or take something from it every time we do
For
this.
sure,
And
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I view that as such a gift. Like,
Well, and even if we talk about the same topic, like everyone's view is different, right?
Yeah.
Like we're going to be talking about like parenting, you know, and what we went through as men, but like we can talk about the same topic with 10 other dads, and there
all
will be
different.
10
Oh, yeah.
different
Yeah,
for
opinions,
sure.
right?
Absolutely.
We're never going through the same shit. I mean, we are going through the same stuff, but we're experiencing it differently.
yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
For a guy with English as a second languge, you're doing pretty good over there.
Man, I've been practicing that
You're on
line for
fire
2
today.
months now.
You've been holding on to that one, haven't you?
I don't know. It just comes to me, man.
So part of our show, and if you don't know, we do a check-in. So the check-in portion is It's, oh man, I always have to explain it.
You don't actually. I don't think you have to explain it.
It's a check-in, 1 to 10. You can pick the timeline. It doesn't matter. So we do a 1 to 10. How are you doing? You can pick the time frame on which you want to operate on. Sometimes, because we don't always. These episodes come out after we've recorded them, or like 2 weeks ahead, or we've done it a month behind, whatever. Okay. So you can pick your timeline. Me and my wife use this system at home because I, as she would say, I'm a robot.
Yep.
So she never knows how to read me, which is funny because she reads people for a living.
Yep.
And we use a number system, and it gives a quick gauge on like, hey, where are you at? Yep. And like Tommy and I use it on the show. I use it with my friends now. I use it with like.
Yeah, we use it too.
We use it with each other. I use it with a number of other people, and like other people are now using it. It's bleeding out, and so it's actually just like a really easy way to like get a gauge on someone, and also get like a starting point for like, should we talk about this, or are we good?
Yeah.
Like, or do we not need to, or do you not want to?
Right.
Like.
And like the standards are different for every person. Like for you, a regular normal day is like a 7.
Yeah, me at my like in a good day for me is a 7.
Yeah, and for someone it could be
tend to exceed 7 very often.
Yeah,
some people might look at it as like, okay, I'm a 5 because like I'm not super happy, but I'm also not sad, right? Mm-hmm. So they're taking it as like it's in the middle, right?
Right.
But yeah, for us, it's basically 1 being like you're absolutely shitty, and 10 being like you're happy.
Yeah,
that's what we're going with that. So. Let me start with you.
All right. I'm going to go based on the last 7 or 8 days. And I would say that I'm like a 6.5.
Okay. So that's not horrible. You know what?
It's been pretty good. Like things have been all right.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of my daughter's in club volleyball.
Yep.
And so there's been like tournaments. I'm a sports dad for the first time. And like,
I still can't picture you.
Fuck, it's a lot. It's a lot.
I think I need to show up with one of the events and just take a photo of you to see you in the moment.
So it's been just like a lot, like and a lot for her too. Like she has 3 practices a week. She's at tournaments every weekend. Like it's a lot of commitment for her, and I can't imagine what that feels like for her as a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
And then it's a lot of commitment for me and Rachel. Like it's. Yeah. You're driving her here, you're picking her up. You're driving her here, you're picking her up. You're going to this tournament, then you're there all day. Like you're hanging out, doing the sports parents thing. I'm making friends with parents, making friends with strangers that I like normally probably wouldn't make friends with. But we're finding our way, and we've built some actually relationships that I think that we'll take out of this season and continue. And so like that's a gift and that's a blessing. And like, so I'd say I'm a 6.5. I've been really busy with. Obviously, work is nuts, and Tommy, you know about that. But Tommy and I work together. But the other Tommy, we work together. So we both kind of have a gauge on how the insanity that's been our business for the last while. And I've talked about it on the show before, but everything's going great. So I can't be upset about too much stuff. And so I'll say 6.5.
Okay, nice.
You?
I'm running about 7.5, I'd say.
What's that like? Never been there.
Sounds nice.
You know what? It's been so. I think the last episode, I was about an 8, and I was busy but happy. But it's before the trip, I'm heading out. So by the time this episode is out, I will be already in Slovakia. So before the trip, I need to get. There's so many things I have to get done. One of them was taking out the camper to the site, so that way it's set up, it's there, and wife can actually go and enjoy it while I'm gone. A few things, after the winter, like the normal routine that we do, like still got to get that done while I'm finishing up a couple big jobs as well. So it's just been really busy, and like, this morning, like I slept through 5 alarms. No idea. My wife's like, "Hey, aren't you supposed to be at work?" I'm like, "Oh shit!" But like, it just happened. Like, I had no idea. Like, been sleeping very little. But other than that, like, I'm doing good because, usual. But been okay. Like mentally, it's one of those things that I know what I need to do, and I gotta get there. Doesn't matter how, but I gotta get there.
I gotta say, the last few times, and I see you fairly often, but like the last few times I've seen you, you've had a brighter demeanor.
Yeah, like
you're no less busy, you're no less occupied, but like you've actually had a little more oomph in your whatever.
Well, and I talked to 2 people about this, that life throws us shit all the time. Like there's
Constantly.
always something that like
shitstorm.
Someone's either someone or something happens that it's just it wants to ruin your day. And I just try to like throw it behind my back and like move forward, like not to dwell on what happened. Okay, it happened, so let's see what we need to do to either fix the problem or just kind of move on from it, right?
Yeah.
So just been trying to focusing on the positive things.
It seems to be working. Like I've noticed a difference in you in the last, and you could go back on episodes actually and probably see the shift in your numbers. And so that's awesome. Good for you, man. Yeah. That's great.
Tommy?
Other Tommy? How are we going to do
It's okay.
We'll just go through it.
I'm okay with other Tommy.
New Tommy? I don't know. Guest Tommy? How about you?
I'd say like 6'3".
Okay.
Yeah, 6'3", over the last few weeks for sure.
Yeah.
My girlfriend was gone for a week a couple weeks ago. So that was my first solo dad experience.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah. It was great. It was a lot of work, especially juggling the 2 jobs and trying to have a bit of a social life, which is pretty much zero at this point. But it was good. Like there was lots of positives there. Got to bond with my little one. So I got a 1-year-old daughter now. So that was good. Yeah, thanks, man. And then a week later was planning for her birthday party, which was awesome.
Yeah.
But again, gong show, right?
Yeah.
Super busy.
Yeah.
Lots going on. And then we just went away to a cabin we rented for the last couple of days. So,
nice.
And now I'm here.
Yeah.
So it's just nonstop, which is good. I like being busy, but didn't do my meditations.
Okay.
Didn't kind of reflect on the days and
Get
all that
used
kind of
to
stuff. Yeah, exactly.
It's like the things that you used to do for yourself. It's like you might have some time for it, but like it's in the little corner. And I mean, kudos to people that can manage that, but like I know they're extremely busy.
Yeah. Do you have a bit of a personal care routine that you go through, both like mentally?
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
you shower, so that's nice. But
exactly.
No, but do you have like something you do for yourself mentally to like keep you at a sort of good state?
Yeah, I mean, it's changed for sure after having a kid, but I try to do at least once a day, just a quick reflection. I have a little notification in my phone every day at noon and at 7. So when my daughter's down, try to do a little 10 or 15 minute meditation.
Okay.
Nice.
And that's just usually sit in the basement, close my eyes, or just reflect on the day. How was the day, right? Was it good? What was the bad parts? What was the good parts? And
that's pretty good, yeah.
And then just try to stay in the moment. For sure. That's my biggest struggle is dwelling on the past or, anxious about the future. Okay, what do we got? Do we have enough food in the fridge for the next few days? Yeah. Are there any big bills coming up?
Yeah. Being present is so hard.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
My wife does that for me. It's like, we need food.
Because you're incapable or because you're unwilling?
I don't know, but I was supposed to go to the bank, like pick up change, and it's been a week now that I haven't gone. It's just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do that. I literally hop in the car and I drive right by the bank.
Yeah.
And I probably looked at the bank too, and it's just like there's certain information that I cannot hold in my head. So my wife tells me about hey, we need groceries. Oh shit, okay. Or
for sure.
Like she's on top of like our schedule, which is. Thank God, because
she's a great manager of this household.
Oh my God, yeah, like we'd be.
And thank fuck that she is.
Oh yeah, we'd be a mess. Yeah, I'd be a mess for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, let's. I guess we kind of got it right into it from your check-in. So yeah, you're a you're a new
single dad.
Yeah, you're a new dad, French dad.
That's a different episode.
Yeah. That's next year coming up.
Yeah.
Oh jeez.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, but so yeah, you're a new dad. Like a year, it's still the first year. really the baby just sleeps, eats, poops.
Yep.
That's about it, right?
Yep.
Like, and then I know my wife, the way she explained it to me is like, it sucks that mat leave is only a year because at 1 is when they start to really interact with you and like show emotions and that's when the fun part starts and like, oh no, here's daycare. You know, or like here's grandma or grandpa or whoever is taking care of, and then you go back to work. Now, not sure with your situation. Is your wife working? Or,
she's working.
She's working. Mm-hmm. Self-employed or
no? She works for Flying Squirrel, so it's like a.
Okay,
I'm sure you've been there with your kids.
Yeah, they fucking love that place.
Oh yeah,
I hate it,
dude. Yeah, it's just
Okay, so she had a year off, or
no, not necessarily.
Okay.
It was like 4 months.
Okay,
and then right back to work. Ooh. She works on the corporate side of things, so she oversees all the parks in the U.S.
Oh wow, okay.
So I don't know if it's a luxury or not, but we got that. I guess freedom to both, like I work from home and on the roads. It's a little bit of hybrid role, and then she's strictly at home and then travels maybe 3 times or 4 times a year to the States.
Okay, so you don't have like an office you have to go to.
No. Yeah.
And I know this already, but I'm going to act like I don't know some of these things so that the listeners can get it. But you don't actually have like an office you have to go to every day or whatever.
No.
And had you framed your life up to be that? Is that kind of what you've always wanted?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've always worked either at an office or a car dealership is kind of where I came from.
Okay, yeah.
Not that I'm a car person at all. It was
more the sales part.
Yeah, it is more getting the experience and all that stuff.
Whether you sell cars or other products, at the end of the day, pretty much use sales.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, sales is sales. Yeah. But anyways, I kind of, everything happens for a reason, right? Yep. And she, when she was pregnant, she got a promotion at work, and that took her from working at the park in Winnipeg to working from home.
Okay.
Before she even announced she was pregnant, so it worked out quite well in that sense. And then for me, I quit that busy office job when she was pregnant the first time.
Yep.
Because we lost our first pregnancy. Yeah, thanks, man.
Yeah,
but I set myself up to have that flexibility at home to help out because we don't have the same support level that most people have. So we kind of set ourselves up like that. Yeah. I do wish she took her mat leave for the full year, or I did at least. But here we are. So
so from like the mom's perspective, like I can't even imagine being a new mom, because I know their hormones are just absolutely through the roof, right? Throughout the pregnancy and even after that, right? There's a lot of women that get into that postpartum depression, and that I've seen it, and it's absolutely brutal.
It's a scary
thing.
Fuck. Well, and it's insane. I will never claim to know anything about that.
And
none whatsoever.
And
but
so respect.
I have friends who work with postpartum and who have had really awful experiences through that. Like, I will never know and can't imagine what that feels like, but it must be hell.
Right.
And so on top of that, now she's working from home while trying to raise a baby. And first year, like we mentioned, they sleep a lot, they eat. I mean, it can be easy. It also can be a fucking nightmare if the baby's a colicky baby, right?
But it must be a big change regardless.
And we've talked about like having a home office or working from home. If you don't have that space where you literally go away and do your work, like there's always distractions. Phone rings, kid cries,
dogs barking,
exactly. There's always something, right? So it's a lot to handle mentally, whether you're a man or a woman. Like, it doesn't matter. It's a lot to handle mentally. That pressure, right? So I mean, kudos to you guys that you're both working from home, right? And trying to raise this little human.
Totally. Yeah, man.
So let's talk about
I was gonna say it comes with challenges, right?
Yeah. So let's talk about the pregnancy part. So you just mentioned a few minutes ago, like you lost your first one. Do you want to sort of share that experience with us? Yeah,
for sure. I mean, it's funny because when she announced it to me, I remember I was sitting in my office. I think I was playing video games or high as a kite or something. and this was, I guess, right after COVID or whatever. And she comes in and she shows me a test, and I thought it was a COVID test. I was like, oh, sweet. We get to take the next couple weeks off work and watch some movies. And no, yeah, it was a pregnancy test. And there was no, negative doubts in my mind. It was all excitement, obviously very anxious and like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like this is real, right? But we both wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a great experience. But immediately it was like a switch flipped, and it was like those basic instincts of being a human and a male, right? It's like, okay, I got to make sure, the house is proper, we're financially prepared, I got to make a change at work.
Yeah.
Work's not going to work out, working these crazy hours, and I don't even love what I do.
Yeah.
I got to work on myself. All right, it's game time.
That sounds like a lot. And were you guys like trying or not?
Nope.
Not trying?
Yeah, a little bit of both.
Okay.
You weren't putting any blocks up.
Yeah, condoms don't work for me, so.
Yeah.
I was telling you earlier about my buddy who's in his 40s.
Yeah.
He was wearing one.
Oh.
Didn't fucking work.
Yeah.
It was that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she got pregnant, and I think we were prepared in terms of like, we accepted it. We both wanted to be parents.
Yeah.
We knew this was going to be life changing.
It was the plan. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the plan. We did a couple trips while she was pregnant, and then I think it was at like 7 months around there. I got a call at work, and this is when I put my 2 weeks in with my employer at the time. That was a really good paying job. It was great work, and I quit already, so I could be at home and help out and stuff like that. And she's like, yeah, I lost the kid, or
at 7 months.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And it was like, fuck, man, like
that's a long.
Yeah, don't quote me on the 7, but it was
no,
definitely
but like further, like we're not talking about the first trimester when like most of those things happen when if they do.
Shit,
yeah, it was like
that's tough.
yeah.
So what was like how did you feel at that point?
Oh man, like it's funny because there's so much going on in this world nowadays with opinions and right wing and left wing politics and abortions and all that shit, and I'm definitely on the side of things where it's like, hey, make your decision, whatever's right for you and your family, your life, like hey, go for it, right? And for me, when we lost that child, it was like we lost our kid. Like I didn't meet that kid, or that baby, like we didn't experience anything, but you paint a picture in your head of what kind of father you want to be, or a role model, or
and at that point, like you're planning everything out, like you're
totally.
When you're in the home stretch,
because like you said, in the first trimester, you maybe imagine certain things like, oh, this is what we'll be doing as a family, right? But closer to the pregnancy, like you have like detailed plans already.
Oh yeah, man, for sure. We had names picked out.
Yeah,
we like the nursery was ready to go. I painted it. Even just little things like putting the dresser together. Like it was like we were good.
You're just ready.
Yeah. But that's life for you, right? It's like you could be as prepared as possible, but you just never fucking know.
So what was that like from? And you don't have to divulge anything that she experienced if you don't want to, but like, what was that like for your relationship? And you as the dad of this, like, what was that like for you to go through that experience? She had her own, and we don't need to talk about hers.
Right,
but
but that's...
how did that affect you and her, and how did that affect you?
Well, we both, especially as a male and a female, and she was raised, she was growing that human inside of her, and I wasn't. There was completely different feelings going on and opinions and all that shit. And for me, it was just like, I just got to be there for her during this time. Like fuck my feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not
100%.
And
so,
to a certain extent, I think rightfully so. Like, I think we have moments as men where it's like, oh no, this isn't my time to.
Yeah.
I don't get to have feelings about, or at least it's not the time for it.
Yeah, we can talk about my feelings after.
Well, and she was 7 months, give or take, into like really physically building a bond with this child.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Whether she had spoken to it or not in that sense, but like it happened. It was happening.
Oh yeah,
so
man. Yeah, it was.
How was that for? So you took a supporting role, obviously, of her. What was that like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it was hard because again, like I've always been the type of person, and I guess man or whatever, or boy, growing up, where I never put myself first. I was always putting other people before me, brushing under the rug, dealing with it in other ways. If it was going to the gym or going for a run or smoke a joint or whatever. And during that time, I again didn't have that support system, didn't have that community, wasn't going to therapy, was more focused on her, and then back to our relationship, and then back to, hey, I'm not done wanting to try to do this, and I don't want to fail at doing it. So let's try again. Yeah. And in her perspective, and again, like I can't speak on her feelings, but for what she's explained is like, as a female or a mother trying to grow a child and you lose it, it's a massive failure. Yeah. So, let's try again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we did. And there was lots of tough times through that pregnancy too.
Yeah.
Lots. Oh yeah.
Well, and so now with the second pregnancy, I I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was in the back of your minds.
Oh yeah.
What if it happens again?
Dude.
Probably every day, right?
Fuck yeah.
Any sign of like probably the baby not moving or
just constant stress. Was it just like tense the whole time?
I mean, we went through without
Did you guys
like
have
losing
any of
a
that?
child, right?
Okay, you didn't.
So like we still were like, oh shit, like
that's
baby
Slovakian blood.
Yeah.
But it's like baby hasn't moved in like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like what the hell, It's like, well, maybe it was just napping, right? But like, as a new parent, like or expecting parent, you don't know these things, right?
Yeah.
And now going through that trauma, like,
yeah.
I can't imagine. I'm sorry that you guys had to go through.
I appreciate it, man. But it's cool being able to talk to people like yourselves about this shit, because my friends don't know.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know.
Well, and so like. I'm not sure your friend. Do you have friends with kids or
not really?
No. Yeah. So those ones don't want to hear that shit.
No.
Really. Like, I mean, let's be honest, right?
Well, they just
like,
don't get it.
Yeah, exactly. Because like they're not at that stage in their lives, which is okay.
Yeah.
But like, so if you want to open up to those friends that have no kids, we'll be like,
let's go get fucked up. Like, that's it.
So for me, like I had a different experience.
Yeah.
And my relationships with certain people changed so dramatically after I was a dad. And I didn't create Autumn. She's not my birth daughter, but she's my daughter, and I'm her dad. Like, there's no question about that. And like, until I took on that role of being a father to her, like, I didn't understand. I had no idea what it was like for dads.
Well,
like I just didn't know.
It's not part of your life, right?
I knew
what
my dad was like with
it.
me, and I knew like how to be a dad because I was so fortunate to have that.
You were looking at it as a son.
But I'm looking at it from like from a son's perspective, not from a dad's perspective, and I just didn't know what that was like, and like that's a whole different fucking beast.
Yeah,
well,
sure it is.
I just had this conversation with
and she was 8 when I when I became her dad. She was 8, so like she had been through probably. Like you've been through that. Yeah. You've been through those first 8 years. You're only a year in, so I actually have no idea what it's like being you right now.
Yeah.
With a 1-year-old. Like, happy belated birthday.
Yeah.
To your daughter. But like, I don't know what that's like. So it's interesting. Tell you,
it smells a little bit. There's lots of puking involved, right?
Yeah,
actually not anymore.
There's probably
glad I skipped some of that part. But
yeah. Oh man.
Okay, so she got so then she got pregnant again.
Yep.
Obviously, there's like some level of stress with that.
Oh, totally.
Regardless of losing the first one or not,
Yeah.
there's probably just stress around having a pregnant wife
Oh yeah, like I mean,
or partner. Sorry.
yeah. It's it's the combination of, like you're mentioning, Tommy, like the hormones and stuff, but then also that the back of your mind, like, how's it going today? Like, how's the child? Like, how's the baby doing? Going to checkups, doing the private ultrasound thing because we were so anxious all the time, and then at the final stretch, right? It's like, all right, it's game time. Like, we're good. Baby's good. And I remember I had a diaper party, rented a cabin, me and the friends, got fucked up, ate a bunch of mushrooms.
Awesome.
Good time. And then, but the day before that, she had her 20-week checkup, and the baby's head is measured at, like, I think they said it was the second or third percentile.
Okay. Yeah.
Of like how big it was.
So they have these charts.
Yeah.
Help me understand this.
So that's why I'm not answering or explaining it right at the back. So it's very
let me try
confusing.
it. And I bet you, like, if any moms listen to this, they'll be like, these guys are full of shit.
Probably.
Well, it's our fucking show.
They'll understand the best.
This episode's not for you.
But as far as I understood, there's a chart. Right. So this is the curve, and your kids should be growing according to that curve.
Yeah.
So, but every child was different, and even this is after
genetics.
Even after once they're born, like they're like, okay, they're growing, and it should be on that curve, right?
Yeah, okay.
And so kids could be either above or below that curve, and that's how they had those percentiles or that sections set up. So when it was above, usually it was okay. If it was below, like just a little bit, it's fine. If it's below quite a bit, and then they're like, well, there could be concern.
Exactly. And that's where you guys were at?
Yeah,
okay.
so like her head size was concerning, essentially. It wasn't, based off of her weight and our, all that shit.
Yeah.
It was measuring lower than average.
Okay.
And then a day later, I'm eating mushrooms and taking shots of Jameson. And my friends are like, what's going on, dude? It was a lot. But,
now I saw her. She has a normal sized head.
Oh yeah, her head's bigger than mine. Like, fuck.
I was gonna say, like, you don't have
my head's
necessarily
tiny,
a big head. So
this is a youth large hat I have on.
Really?
Yeah.
You got a small head?
Yeah, I got a small head.
But yeah, like, I actually had to get my wife to stop reading baby books. Because it's and looking shit up on the internet, because it's like, if this happens, then this could be this and this and this and this and this and this and this. And
well, we didn't have the internet 50 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're just like, you're fucking, you're having a kid.
And thank God for the research that comes with it, right? Like, that's great.
It has its benefits.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
But at one point, it's like, okay, you cannot be like, you're not a professional. You cannot assess.
Yep.
What's going on with the baby based on what you're feeling, because that could be a million things, right? So again, like, their emotions are a roller coaster, and you as a man are there to support her how do you find time for yourself? Diaper party. Right? I mean, and then I told this to my wife when we went through, like, marriage issues, and I guess kind of use the same analogy during pregnancy as well, and just kind of parenthood, that I need to be able to do things for myself, because if I don't do those, I'm gonna be a miserable prick. And there's actually a really good video on Instagram, and if I find it, I'm gonna try to share it, but they're saying something along the lines that a depressed man will still be there to support you, but you're not gonna like how he acts, what he does. He'll still do what's necessary,
for sure,
but you will not like that person.
I can
and that's why I told my wife, like, I had to do this shit for myself. So whether it's going out to my buddy's place, watch a hockey game, or jam, or go to a concert, whatever it is that makes you happy.
Yeah, you have to.
And this is, I love what kids used it in school. It's, you have a bucket.
Yep.
And, like, you fill your bucket with happiness, right? And then that bucket always depletes a little bit. So you constantly have to keep putting shit in there.
You got it.
And that was my bucket. Like, I had to, in order for me to be there to help and support, I need to do shit for myself. And so it was very important for me to do that during pregnancy. But again, then I felt like an asshole.
Yeah, exactly.
Because like, okay, I had a blast, and while my wife was trying to roll over from one side of the couch to the other side, you know, because like they have a hard time moving around. I mean, they're carrying a child, you know.
Yeah. And they can't do that stuff, right?
So like, now you did something good for yourself, but you're also feeling shit.
Yeah.
Like shit because you did that, right? And you weren't there to support. So it's absolutely brutal.
Yeah, pregnancy sucks, man.
Yeah,
it
does.
Yeah,
and then the worst thing was we were actually driving on. Well, for listeners outside Winnipeg, they won't know, but on St. Anne's, just by Fermor, and my wife saw McDonald's, like, go get. I need a McFlurry. I'm like, okay, it's red light. Go. She's literally yelling at me to run a red light.
She also like doesn't know what the fuck's going on.
Well, and exactly, like it was. I mean, we keep bringing it up. It wasn't funny at the moment, but now we can laugh about it.
Sure, which is good.
So yeah, like these emotions that you're working with, right? They're working with, and you're trying to understand what the fuck's going on, while you're dealing with your own emotional stability.
Yeah,
is like absolutely brutal.
Yeah.
But I think it's a very short time that we have to put in as parents, because once that little human is born, and I mean, I didn't think I can love anything more than that, you know. And I'm sure you love Autumn just as much as I love my kids, 100%.
Yeah.
But that moment of like, holy shit, it's here.
When was that moment for you?
When was it?
Yeah.
Like the holy shit, she's here, or like
when was like, oh fuck, I'm a fucking dad? Like,
as soon as she came out.
As soon as she came out, you're like, oh yeah, is that when that moment happened?
I think so. Like, I mean, I think men and women talk about like, ooh, I love this baby so much, you know, and like,
oh yeah, for sure,
you do, you love it, and like, especially like what you guys went through the first time, like you had that love already towards the baby. But like I think once you see that child and you hold it, like, I think that's what it really like kicks in.
That's the unconditional love part. At least what I experienced was like her being born, didn't matter what she looked like, if she had 10 fingers or 12 or what. It was just like, holy fuck, she's here. Thank the gods. Yeah. She's healthy. She's breathing. I love her. Don't care.
Yeah.
Like,
my daughter came out as a conehead. Like she had to
get
sucked out. And so like she literally she looked like an alien. But I'm like, oh, it's the most beautiful thing. Now I look at the pictures, like, oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I even like show it to her.
Do you show her that? Oh, she must hate that so much.
Oh man,
but
that's weird. Right?
You know, my wife makes fun of this every time we bring it up. Like on the way, I think the second or third day we were driving home. I was driving on Marion, like doing maybe 30 clicks, and people are driving around like, "Fuck you!"
Yeah,
like,
you just
I don't care.
Like, care.
No, I have this kid
in
the car.
I guess just nothing else matters.
No,
like there's nothing more important.
Yeah,
you just like wanted to protect that little thing from everything.
So
know?
I want to take a short break, and then I want to talk about how you balance. And I want to talk to both of you about this because you guys know better than I do. Or maybe I don't know, but I want to talk about how you balance that feeling towards your child to continue to maintain and grow those loving, unconditional loving feelings you have towards your partner during what probably is some difficult road ahead.
I'm just gonna quickly use a reference to quick answer, and then we'll get into details. But I'm gonna use Ryan Reynolds'. I think it was Ryan Reynolds. His reference is like, "I will use my wife as a shield to protect my kids."
Cool.
Okay, we'll talk about that when we get back.
Right.
Hey Tommy, among all the episodes we've recorded, you know, there's one common theme, and that's getting therapy. We've talked about it lots.
Many times.
You had a really tough time making that first phone call. I had a tough time making that first phone call. I didn't even know if the person I was going to see was the right person, but you got to just try. Thank goodness we have a sponsor that makes it way easier now. BetterHelp has an online platform that allows you to fill out a questionnaire. They connect you with a therapist, and you get to communicate with them however you want. So whether that's text messaging, that's emails, that's through their app, that's video chats, you get all those options, and it makes it way less scary to be connected with someone. And if you're not into the person you talk to, they'll sign you another one right away. I've gotten assigned mine already, and I can't wait to use it. Like, by the time you hear this, I will have had my first session, and I'm super pumped to talk about it on the show.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it, and like it's very easy to sign up. It took us maybe 5 minutes to sign up, and you answer just simple questions, and next thing you know, you got a message that you will be paired up with a therapist, and within the same day, we got the therapist already, and the name and a message from them, and we were able to communicate with them. So it's extremely easy. So please go to BetterHelp.com. Yeah, that's the thing. BetterHelp.com/Quiet Riot Show, and you get to also enjoy 10% off for your first month if you sign up using this link. So again, right here, I'm going to be doing it from here. Yeah, it's BetterHelp.
Am I screwing it up?
.com/Quiet Riot Show. Yeah, sign up today, and you're not going to regret it, because I'm already enjoying it. Just the fact that we connected with a therapist.
Me too, man.
Thank you to BetterHelp for supporting this podcast.
Okay, so I think there's like 2 things I'd like to cover yet before we call it a night.
Yeah, let's do it.
One was right before the break. So your kids are born, both of you. This is to both of you.
Yep.
Your kids are born. You now have obviously a whole new purpose in life.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And you also have a partner who has the same purpose in life.
Yep.
Does that align? How do you keep connected? What am I trying to say? If the purpose is this being that you've both now created together, and that is the priority, how do you manage each other as a priority? Because up until that point, your priority is your partner.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like that's the mission.
It's just the two of you.
The mission is it's the two of you,
yeah.
and you love each other, and you work at your relationship with each other. And I would imagine adding a third party to that. And I've had that same experience, delayed by a number of years. But like, how do you keep dedicated and working on that when there's this other thing that like just inevitably requires more attention and care than the other person, because the other person's an adult?
Yep.
How do you guys, what are you doing with that? Now you're Tommy, my Tommy. I don't know what to say. How do you Slovakian Tommy?
Yeah, you call me Irish or something.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck to say here, but how do you, like, you're a little further down that road. How have you managed that? And then new Tommy, how do you manage that?
Why don't you go ahead, because like I think I can speak on it a little bit longer, and like you're still within a year and a few days, right?
For sure. Yeah.
And that can't be easy. Like that.
No,
like I would assume that's very difficult. I'm going to let you go ahead and talk though, if you wish to do so.
Oh yeah. Probably other Tommy has better answers than I do, and more experiences in this, and over the years. But yeah, we're working on it for sure. And yeah, no, Tim, you said it, perfectly. It's like we went from taking care of each other and our needs, if that's, physical or, emotional or whatever it is, to now less physical, right? Less time for emotions, and then less time for yourself. So it's tricky, especially because a lot of those things that we did before the kid, we can't really do, or not, we can't do them as frequent. So yeah, it's definitely a battle, and it's a struggle. It takes a lot of patience, right? Again, putting yourself last in most situations. But I think it's all about just communication and being able to open up, right? And again, like as a logical thinker and person and stuff like that, I find it hard to be like, okay, well, I could put in a couple hours of work here because I want to and I love it.
Yeah.
Or I could put that aside and ask my partner like that check-in question, right?
I suck so bad at that, guys. Like, just for the record, if my wife's listening, I suck so fucking bad at that. Like, if there's a couple hours to put into work, I was like, I'm going to do that.
Oh yeah.
Like I am so, but that, okay. So to me, that's like the provider in me. Mm-hmm. Like that's my role. That's my job. It's like, no, if I can put in, if there's a 2-hour window and I can put work in, like that's what makes me money, which allows me to create security for my family.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's the pressure, like, and maybe that's bullshit and I just put it on myself, or maybe that's an excuse or whatever that is, but like,
or that's the way
that is
works
how
for
I feel.
your family.
Well,
too,
it doesn't work. It doesn't always work, but like that's how I feel.
Right. And I think everyone's situation's different, right? Like
for sure.
Maybe that works for you. Maybe my thing works for me. I don't know. But
it doesn't work always. Trust me.
Like
my thing is not working great all the time. It's not magical.
Well,
for sure.
And I don't think it's supposed to work all the time, right? Sometimes it will work. Sometimes it won't. It depends on. Yeah. There's so many other factors that come into the play, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, like for example, let's say tomorrow we got some crazy order.
Yeah.
Like biggest order we've ever thought of. We're out of stock.
Yeah.
We're fucking high-fiving and celebrating.
Yeah.
That makes you feel good.
Yeah.
Right? Like I did a great job. My purpose, was fulfilled. I can now go home happy, maybe hungover, but you're like
probably.
I did it. Like we had we had it was successful, and now as a man, a provider, and a role model to your child, they look up to that. I mean, why is dad so happy?
Yeah.
Well, dad just killed it at work.
Yeah.
Right? It's not always about money, especially in the industry that we're in, right? Because it's like, you don't make $1 million overnight in the cannabis industry.
Or mostly anywhere.
In most industries, right? But we do it, sure, to pay the bills and put food on the table, but also because it makes us feel good about ourselves, and it also provides good influence on our family and our kids. If we didn't work and we, just slummed around the house all day, and then your kid grows up and sees that, they want to do the same thing.
That's the example you're setting. Yeah. That's the standard you're setting.
Now
I want to touch on that with you in a little bit, but let's.
I want to comment on that one. Like, I just want to make sure that, like, now there's also, I know actually a bunch of dads that are stay home dads.
Yeah.
And that's
a new thing.
Yeah, I wish I did that.
That's a new thing.
It is for sure.
Oh yeah.
But it blows my. I couldn't do it. No fucking way I could do it. But like, there's, because obviously, the let's call it the breadwinner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There you go.
Is the female from the family.
Yeah.
And she makes enough money for him to stay home and be the dad. Now, again, I couldn't do it. Like, I can entertain my kids with farts and jokes and go outside and do something, but like, I couldn't do like the whole let's color to now and then next hour do a different activity. Like, that's not me, right? Mm-hmm. Kudos to those dads like that can
for sure
do it, right?
And some of them are built for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some of them are absolutely built great for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not one of them, but
no. Mm-hmm. So for me, honestly, like, as first time when we had our daughter, our first kid, it was new, but like, I know we were both ready for it. We wanted it we were actually trying for, I think, 8 or 9 months. Like, we had a hard time getting pregnant.
Yep.
And we've then it happened. Everything was good. Growing up in Europe, like, I was raised by my grandparents, basically.
Yep.
Because mom and dad worked. Summertime, I was at my grandparents the whole time. Mm-hmm. There was no daycare. My parents couldn't afford it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And even like during the year, there was the, let's call it preschool type. I was always there because my parents worked, right? They had to work. I don't remember when my mom was on mat leave, but I know mat leave in Slovakia is 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And which is, I agree with that. I think that should be almost everywhere because,
sure.
like I mentioned that, at one, that kid becomes more fun.
Yep.
I think it's the polar opposite of what we do here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, in the States is even worse, right? It's like 6 months or not even.
If that.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But so I was raised by my grandparents, so that the culture is in me and in my wife as well. So my in-laws living here, they were like ecstatic. They were like, we had to shoo them away. We're like, okay, give us a little fucking break. Like we want to be parents on our own. We don't need you here, because my mother-in-law wanted to like, let me do laundry for you guys. Let me do this. So so I have to give them like kudos for helping us out, even though it was overwhelming sometimes. Because we had that support, we actually had a relationship. And that was absolutely amazing. We, as I mentioned in our previous conversations off the mics, that I think my kids were 2 months. Let's take them to grandma for one night for sleepover.
Cool.
Let's see how the baby handles it. Let's see how my in-laws handle it. Right. Yeah. It was good right off the bat. We did it with the second kid. The challenges that we ran into as couples is actually at older age when, in-laws, they don't listen to you. They do their own thing.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to raise our child in a certain way. So like we want this rule or that rule, and this is how we should be doing it. And as soon as we drop the kids off, like the in-laws are just like,
all out the
fuck
window.
you. We're doing it our way, right?
Yeah.
So at
That's
first
annoying.
it was, and because it's my in-laws, my
We have
wife's
the
parents,
same thing going on.
they we had fights over this with my wife, because I was like, well, I don't want them to do that. You need to talk to them. And my wife didn't want to hurt their feelings, so that it created tension between us, right? So we had a lot of that. With the second child, or even later on, I think with my daughter, we kind of realized like, okay, I know they're doing their, like we had a very specific bedtime. Like my kids went to bed at super early, like 6:30, 7 p.m., and then we had our evening together. So we could watch a show, get some cleaning done, get intimate, just have a fire outside, had the monitor.
Cool.
We were just doing fun things right after that. So we would still have 2-3 hours to ourselves. Yep. So it was really nice. Went to the in-laws. Oh, they were staying up till 9:30. We're like, what the fuck? Like they're gonna come home and the schedule's gonna be ruined. Yeah. But in that the kids kind of, I guess, learned that at grandma's and grandpa's this is the rule. Yeah. At home this is the rule. That's good. So cool. So once I realized that, and it took me quite a few years to realize, I was okay with it. I was like, you know what? It's fine. It's not worth fighting over it with my wife, because there's no point. It's working, right?
Well, and they're helping raise them. Yeah. And I think there's huge value in that.
And like I had some challenges in my life when my daughter started preschool, and it was every day, but only for 2 hours in the morning. And I was working nights. So I would go to work for 11 o'clock, work till 7 a.m. I would be home around 7:45. And I had to drop my daughter off at 9. So I'm like, here I am, like super tired. Okay, got to stay up for an hour now, because once I'm asleep, I'm out. Like I told you guys, I slept through 5 alarms. And so I had to drop her off, come home, sleep for 2 hours, set like million alarms. And then luckily my coworker's kid went to the same preschool. So there's times where he would call me like, hey, dude, we're here to pick up our kids. I'm like, shit. I'll be right there, He's like, no worries. We were on the same shift, so he understood. Yeah. Cool. I'd call him once in a while. He would call me. So that was super challenging because I was exhausted. I had these couple hours sleep here, then I had to take her to daycare. And, it was just brutal. Yeah. And that also created distance between me and the wife. Because, again, like I'm barely catching up on any sleep. And I think that's where I really learned to like sleep on or function on like 4-5 hours of sleep, because then you come home and you kind of
Tommy's smiling like I'm getting it. I'm starting to get it,
dude. It doesn't get better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
The one thing I can tell you is that I like no matter what you're gonna do to make yourself happy, that will come last for the next
ever.
Yeah. I mean,
for sure.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, because the kid comes first, and then obviously you want to make sure your partner is good. Yep. And sometimes you have to be selfish. Yep. Because at least in my case, like, again, I have to be able to function.
Yeah.
So I need to do something for myself.
Oh, you have to.
And that is very important, I think, for every dad to know to do something for yourself. It doesn't have to be every night, right? It doesn't have to be every week, but every once in a while, we need to do things for ourselves. And I had a really good conversation with my wife about it, and we also had very nasty conversations about it.
Yeah.
Because my mood swings are different, just like hers. And sometimes I wanted to say something, she wasn't in the mood, but I said it anyways. Yeah. So she took it the wrong way, or vice versa, right? But yeah, keeping that intimate life is very important.
Yeah.
In especially early stages, and kind of continue to do that.
Yeah.
Because that gap will just grow. It'll be always bigger and bigger, right?
For sure.
And unfortunately, like, it almost cost me my marriage, and we had to do marriage counseling.
Cool.
And we've learned to force to say I love you. For a few months. And is it because of the kids? Maybe. Sure. I think it's part of the equation.
Yeah,
like, it was
for
because
sure
of how I was feeling, how she was feeling, because we had to take care of the kids. And like, part of me still thinks, I'm like, fuck, man, my kids have so many activities. Like, this shit needs to stop. Like,
yeah.
But then on the other hand, we talked about the angel and the devil on the shoulder. The devil's telling me, like, fuck those kids. Like, they don't need all those activities. And then the other part of me is like, well, my parents couldn't give me all this, so I want to give my kids as much as they want, because why not, right?
So that's actually,
I mean, we could talk for hours. Yeah, like
no, I'm glad we got there, because Tommy, talking to you, and like, I'm no expert father, and none of us are, but like, I know you a little bit beyond this show, and like, you actually had nobody that you've told me about so far that has set actually a really great example of parenthood for you. But you seem to like, not to say nobody, but you've had struggles with your parents, and she's had struggles with her parents, and so, and you mentioned that at the top of the show, as well as I know that from talking to you before, but like, you seem to have this inherent sense of how to be a good parent, despite not having someone do that for you. Yeah. Is that fair to say?
Oh yeah, for sure.
How did you, like, are we born with this sense of this, or is it like, I don't want to be what that was? Do you want to touch on that a little bit? Like,
I mean, I think it's a combination of both, for sure. It's like, even Tommy touched on it a little bit too, with the whole devil and the angels, on your shoulders situation, because, like, there's definitely times where it's like, do we really need to buy her this? But then you think about it, and it's like, how many times as a kid where you're like, I need some pants, or like, I need this toy because of whatever, and your parents don't get it for you, and you're like, well, I don't want to be like them, and I want to provide my child or my family with the things that I didn't get, not just physically but emotionally as well, and and all that stuff. So that's definitely a motivator to just give my child and my family, the support and the love that I didn't get. But it's also a double-edged sword as well, because you don't want to spoil your kid. You don't want them to grow up being who you.
I didn't have that. Why should my kid have that? I had those thoughts many times.
Yeah, it's super tough and to balance it all. But our daughter is 1 year old, so we're not really thinking about that too much at the moment. But
your upbringing will have such a huge impact on
100%
who you become as a father.
Yeah, for sure.
And like, you didn't, and you've said this to me, like, you in different words. I'm paraphrasing, but like, essentially nobody gave you the tools to do this.
Oh no, absolutely not.
And so like, you've got your own childhood.
I have to correct you on that one, because I don't know the backstory, but the tool was given.
Yeah.
And not to use that tool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean? So it's like, something was presented to you in your past.
Yep, you're right.
And you're like, okay, I know that doesn't work, so I'm going to do something different.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean?
It's learning through experience.
Yeah.
And your experience, from my understanding, wasn't positive.
No, no, for sure. Yeah, no, it was you know, we live in a world where privilege is everywhere you see, right? It's everyone's privileged. I'm privileged, even though I didn't have, you know, the same upbringing as most and all that stuff. But, you know, you just got to be optimistic about it all, especially in the sense where, you could think of it like that, where it's like, I didn't have these things, so I need to create them myself, and then essentially educate my child and children on the value of those things. And the positive or the optimistic view on it is, because I learned all those lessons, and they were tough, really tough, and cost me a lot of money and time, and all that stuff. It's going to give my child a little bit of the upper hand on that side of things, because she'll be able to learn from me that, hey, we are privileged in this country and in this, you know, maybe not the world, but where we live right now. So
take advantage of it.
Yeah, take advantage of it.
Use it for something good.
For sure, but but you know, be conscious about it, and don't be an ass as well, right? Like,
I think that's
for sure.
Just don't be an asshole.
Yeah, like just be nice and help people, and be genuine. But man. I mean, that itself is another layer of this struggle, and the you know, the relationship side of things, and all that, because there's one, you know, taking care of myself, if it's hobbies or having a social life or doing what I love to do, but at the same time, you know, whatever your past is, it amplifies those traumatic experiences when that child is born.
Totally.
Times 10.
100%.
All that shit, being a man, growing up, I'm not going to deal with that.
Yeah.
I don't need to go to therapy.
Yeah.
You know, or like, you know, fuck it. My parents sucked. Like, fuck them. I'm going to be a punk. I'm going to get tattoos. I'm going to stretch my ears. I'm going to fucking, you know, do all this shit.
Hey, fuck you. My parents are great. I was really the worst kind of asshole.
I'm just kidding.
That all comes back times 10.
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I see the way that you guys approach how you talk about your families and your wives and your partners, your children, everything, and like, it's inspiring to me.
Sorry, can you repeat that, and I'll replay this for my wife?
No, you can loop it. It's recorded. Okay, you can loop it. But like, I really see that, like, there's this, and Tommy, you said it earlier, like, there is an unconditional love for this person, and like, your daughter's a year old, and you have this relationship that like is with you for life.
Oh yeah,
and
for sure.
I can't imagine, like, both of you, just hearing the way we talk about it and the way I feel about my daughter, like, I can't imagine a life without those people.
Yep, exactly.
I know you might be thinking of wrapping up a little
working
bit,
towards it,
but I actually really wanted to touch on like how you were as jumping into this, the parenthood, because you didn't know this person for 8 years, and then you've become a role model for somebody now. Like, you love your daughter, and she loves you as a dad. Like, you're her dad. She's your daughter, and we've talked about this, and I've seen your relationship with her. It's absolutely amazing. But there's that you know, as let's call it a stepdad.
Sure.
Yeah, it's different, right?
There's always, and I know like her dad is not in the picture, so I think it would be harder if he was.
Oh man, I've been given such a gift that I don't have to compete with anybody.
What was your just intake on all of this? To like what you went through? You were. Because I don't think you ever
a baby.
You didn't want it. I don't think you wanted to have a baby ever,
actually,
right?
To be completely honest, I didn't want babies.
And then now you have this person that you love unconditionally.
Yeah. I hit the jackpot is what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I didn't want babies.
Yeah.
The first thing Autumn and I ever did together, the first time I met her, was play chess.
Cool. Nice.
Okay.
She cheated, but we played chess.
Well, yeah, they do
or
that.
sorry,
yeah.
I let her cheat.
Yeah.
Because we played chess.
Yeah.
But like I had a different experience. So I never really wanted babies.
Yeah.
It wasn't a priority of mine.
Yeah.
Just babies, not kids.
No, I wanted a family.
Okay.
I wanted a family so bad. I just didn't want a baby.
Yeah.
The whole diaper poop barf thing is just I'm
Oh man.
You'll
No.
get over it. Get
Oh,
over
dude.
it.
I didn't have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and I think for me she needed a dad. Like she really did, because her birth father is just not anything other than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a sperm donor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who put her and my wife through a really awful number of years, and we don't have to get into that. That's not my story to tell, but like they both needed a good man and a good dad and a good husband, and like I was looking
And they
for
settled for you.
yeah, right. And they got a 6 out of 10. But no, but they needed me and I needed them. Like I wanted a family so bad. Like I'm built to have a family, and
for sure.
I'm
100%.
my parents are amazing. Like I have so much love and appreciation
both
for my mom and dad, and like
And both your brothers have families, right?
yeah,
So,
and both my
like-
brothers have families and they have kids and all this
Yeah,
stuff, and
cool.
so like I was kind of really late to the party.
Yeah.
But I jumped in with an 8-year-old,
Yeah,
so
you
I kind of
caught
bumped
up.
ahead a
Yeah,
little bit.
Yeah.
But I just it was something I'd always wanted, and it was just such a gift for me to get them and for them to get me. Like
Yeah.
we really we just all have so much, and it's been so easy, and like divine timing, whatever you want to call it, the universe, the gods, whatever the fuck it is, like really all made that work. And like
well, we talked, every shitty thing has a good outcome.
Yeah,
like,
and
there's a reason why it happens,
yeah,
because
I had the shittiest thing happen to me that created the best thing that's ever
Got it.
happened in my
Yeah, man,
life.
for
And
sure.
like it's the biggest win. I love wins.
Yeah.
I'm a sales type
Yep.
person.
Yep.
You understand that?
Yep.
And this is the biggest win I've ever had in my entire life. And like Autumn is really, as far as having a stepdaughter in quotations, she just has really embraced me so well, and she loves me so much, and like I love her so much, and like that relationship for her and I was just so easy. But I think it's because both of us we wanted that. We were hungry for that.
Yeah.
Like I missed it in my life, and she missed it in her life,
Yeah.
and like we were just both wanted that so bad, and then met each other, and it was just like, oh, this is so easy.
Yeah.
And it's not fucking easy all the time, but like
no, it's not.
that,
It's
for
not
us
meant
to
to be.
spark that relationship and create that, like it happened so naturally.
Well, and I think it helped too that for you and your wife, you guys have the same, or you have the same values, but like
We do. We have the same foundation.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
our core values
That's right.
are very, very similar.
That's the most important.
and
So our
that's huge,
parenting,
for sure.
like it's not too often we disagree on something in regards to how to raise Autumn.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so like that makes it easier.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it just
Which
we
is funny.
do
Yeah.
and like but we always back each other up. That's a big thing.
Yep.
In front of her, always back each other up.
That's a
Don't
key.
ever not back your partner
Yeah.
up in front of your child.
I mean,
even if you think it's so wrong, you just have to do it and deal with it later.
Yeah.
I've done it where I threw my wife under the bus though, because I was like, "See, Mom didn't want to get you guys ice cream, but I did."
Oh well, those are funny. Those are funny moments. But like
the important ones.
but the
yeah.
important stuff, like just what I've learned is like just no matter what, suck it up and don't.
We'll talk about it behind closed
Well,
doors.
just don't
and-
show that there's not unity
Yeah,
in your parenting.
that's key. And I
'Cause
was
she's older, so she's 12 now,
Yep.
and so like now, if more than ever, it's important to show that. Now, I'll quote someone people may like or not like, but Dr. Jordan Peterson, fight in front of your kids. It's okay to fight in front of your kids because they get to see that you made up after.
Yeah,
And like that's an important thing. Like my daughter probably had experiences in her life where a fight led to nothing good and it never got better.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like for her to see me and Rach get in arguments, and we don't very often at all, but like we're not afraid to have her hear or see that because she also sees us make up and love each other and be affectionate and like that's an important exercise.
Oh, yeah,
I saw
for
my
sure.
parents fight
Yep.
and then I saw them make up and like those are good things.
See,
interesting.
I'm actually very happy you brought that up because my parents fought quite a bit, and their fights were. I just remember the bad part. I don't like my parents weren't very affectionate towards each other. It wasn't like, "Ooh, I love you," and like,
bit of a generational thing.
Yeah, and I had some bad anger issues to the point where I punched walls, and very recently too. I would not months, but like I would say 2-3 years ago, I still battled those demons, and me and my wife had some nasty fights, and I think it created some trauma for my daughter. My son is different case. Like he's just like, oh, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna go.
You didn't
watch.
get to meet Jacob today, right?
No, you will
okay.
probably. He'll be home soon.
He's
but,
the best.
But I think my daughter had some trauma from it because I know when we started fighting, she would like just start crying and she would run away, and those moments kind of helped me realize like, oh shit, okay, like this is not right. So we tried to every time because we got into a fight, everyone gets into a fight, right?
Yeah, of course.
Excuse me. And we had to show her that, or actually reassure her that it's okay. Like we're disagreeing.
Yeah.
It might be louder. We never threw things, but it might have gotten loud, and it's okay. We're disagreeing. We're passionate about each other's opinion, but we love each other.
Yeah.
And it will be okay. And me and my wife, we told each other, like, no matter how shitty we feel about each other's opinions or feelings, we're not going to bed without saying I love you and I'm sorry. Right?
Well, and it could be
the last night. And
you can fight and it's respectful.
Yeah.
Like you can fight and still maintain respect.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, disagreeing on certain things.
Yeah,
right?
it should happen.
Yep.
It's part of it. I had this conversation with my dad the other day. Actually, it's weird it's coming up again, but like just about arguments and respect and like love, and it's like, oh, those things like overpower whatever disagreement you're having. Like you love that person.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like we
Absolutely.
all have a child with these women. Like we obviously love them.
Yep.
And so can anything be worked through? Well, I think for the most part, most things.
And sometimes you have to give in, and sometimes she has to give in, right? Like,
fuck, I hate giving in. Holy shit! Logical thinker, man.
Yeah.
I have a real hard time giving in out of emotion. Like, I have a hard time giving in out of an emotional decision or feeling because I'm like, well, that doesn't even make sense.
Yeah,
do you
exactly.
do that?
Oh yeah,
yeah. I have the hardest time with that, and I'm learning to just like. This isn't worth it.
Oh yeah,
do I really? Is this the fucking hill I want to die on?
Well,
no.
That's the thing, man. It's tough, and I think especially being a newer parent, and it doesn't matter if like 3 years old or 8 or whatever. You still learn how to deal with this patience side of things. And I remember one of my bosses made a really good point, and it's you have an angry customer who sends you an email or calls you. Wait 24 hours before you reply.
Yeah.
If you're feeling irrational or emotional.
Yeah.
And like my partner I think it was like a week ago, she's going to Florida for a week in June for work, and she's like, oh, we should take advantage of this and bring our daughter to Disneyland. I'm like, she's one. Like, it's going to cost us. Like,
your partner wants to go to Disneyland. Yeah, that's the key. She's using your kid as an excuse.
It's going to cost $5,000, and she's not going to remember.
She's not going to remember anything. But that was a lesson, because it's like, okay, there's something else here. It's not like she's not interested in Disneyland. I'm interested in Disneyland.
Okay.
But it's there's layers of these things, and if we're not patient and we don't think logically or emotionally or whatever the case is, sometimes we miss those little things.
Yeah.
And that was me. Like I didn't think of it that way. My first reaction was, how much is it going to cost?
Yeah.
Is this worth my time? How much days do I have to take off work?
Yeah.
Is my daughter going to give a shit?
Yeah.
She doesn't even know what it is.
Yeah.
That's how my brain works.
Yeah.
And I have to I constantly have to check myself
Yeah.
to be like, is also in logic, is this the right approach to create a positive outcome out of this? Like that does hit the list. It just comes unfortunately too far down the list. I'm working on moving it up.
Exactly.
Because really the first question I have to myself should be like, Is it logical for me to take on an argument over this situation?
Oh yeah, for sure.
No. Okay, then just shut the fuck up and just like maybe just go along with it or whatever. Like,
see, that's so
don't
funny
be so fucking hard-nosed about it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Your point's lost. So to make a point to yourself is dumb.
Yep.
Maybe I shouldn't bother.
Yep.
And this is probably maybe my 9-to-5 job guy talking, but like I'm the other way around. I'm like, oh yeah, let's do it. Do you have enough time? Or who cares? We'll figure it out. You know, like I'm just do you have enough money? Who cares? We'll figure it out.
Same process, different order.
But again, like this is also, I think, both me and my wife, we love traveling. Like we're all about like experiences. Like let's just go. Like and we haven't done that in a long time. We just a couple of weeks ago went to Sioux Falls and as a family for a weekend, Friday to Sunday. It was so good, and we had so much fun. And that just gave us such a morale boost as a family or as partners. Like it was great. But yeah, like I mean, you know, I'm going to Europe now and taking my son for IHF hockey championship. And I took my daughter 5 years ago, and clearly I'm using my kids as like the loaded bullet, you know, because I'm
so
like,
that you can go.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course.
I want to go. Yeah, I went in 2011 by myself. In 2019 with my daughter, I'm like, well, now I got to take my son.
Yeah.
So, but again, it's also I'm taking them at age of 9, so they're gonna remember. My daughter still remembers.
There's memories,
So we as a family, we love these trips because we want to experience it together as a family. And yes, I always thought of it too, like a little 2-3-year-old is not going to remember. Now they remember seeing pictures and all that stuff, so they do develop these memories through photos, right? So there's always that as well,
for sure.
Him and I disagree on what you should do about Disneyland.
Yeah, I was gonna say like
no. I think I agree with you guys.
Yeah,
I agree with you guys that I still don't think it makes sense to go at this age because yes, later on in life they will remember.
Nice.
That.
Yeah. Also, business write-off trips are.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, Tommy, thanks so much for being here, man. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I think most of our guests, we have one conversation. It just never feels like enough.
Yeah,
and so
for sure.
If you're willing, we'd love to have you back sometime.
Absolutely, man.
Your life's going to change constantly.
Totally.
And I hope that's good change and it's exciting. And thank you for being here and sharing and being a part of that. I mean, as men, we all have to do that. And like the more we do it and the more people are willing to sit in your spot and talk honestly, like we all win.
Yeah.
And so thank you for being here.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
As a thank you, you're getting one of our mugs.
Oh, nice.
And please feel free to fill it with whatever makes you happy.
Whatever you want to put in
it.
Totally.
Whether it's coffee in the morning or whiskey at night or rum, whatever, beer, doesn't matter. Please enjoy it.
Sweet,
feel free to take a photo, a selfie, and post it on social media. That'll help us out. Just one thing I want to tell you, man, like every day is a new challenge.
Yeah.
Like and even for me, like, you know, my daughter's now almost 15, and this is a whole new world that I'm experiencing. Like, enjoy every moment. I know it's gonna be tough sometimes, and you know, feel free to reach out to me anytime, man. Like,
thanks, man. I appreciate it.
I know we're connected on social media, but I'll give you my phone number and. Sweet. I know how it is, man.
Yeah.
It sucks. It sucks being a parent because sometimes you don't know what the fuck's going on with the kids and what to do. But all I can offer you is, a seat at the table and let's talk it over. And you know what? The one more suggestion. Whether you want to enroll your daughter in daycare or not, that's fine. But find a time to get a sitter. And get that time for yourselves. Just whether you go out to dinner, have a picnic, or sit at home, watch a show, but just like take that time and really spend it together with your partner. Because that's important. Yeah, man.
Absolutely.
So, my daughter's she's almost 15. You know, I'll even offer her babysitting services for free,
nice.
man. You gotta come pick her up and drop her off. But I'll talk her into.
She's a nice girl.
Awesome.
But yeah, man, if you guys need that time for yourself, make sure you find that time for yourself.
For sure. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Thank you again for coming. For all the listeners, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this very different episode. We haven't had any we haven't had much fatherhood talk.
No, not
other
in
than
any,
about our dads,
yeah.
but I really enjoyed this. Please follow us on our social medias on Facebook and Instagram, Quiet Riot Show. Send us an email if you have a question or if you have your own dad story or how you raised your kids. quietriot@gmail.com. Shoot us an email and we'll respond to you, and maybe we'll get you on the show as well, like we had our buddy Keith. So
awesome. Thanks.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
See you
cheers.
guys.
Sweet.
All Quiet Riot Show episodes have been recorded and produced by SuverMedia. If you think you have an idea for a podcast but don't have the space or proper equipment, please visit SuverMedia.com for more information. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please hit the follow button and leave us a review if the platform you are listening on allows you to do so. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Quiet Riot Show, and follow us on the Instagram page @QuietRiotShow. Please share this episode with others that may be interested in these topics. If you know anyone that would enjoy these topics, feel free to share our podcast with them. Also, let us know what topics you'd like to see covered in future episodes. Get in touch with us in the comments on our channel and social media, or send us an email to quietriotShow@gmail.com.